Hey everybody! So, Georgia Tech finally makes a freaking bowl game. Since for the first time since 2018, just like the buzzsaw told you, uh, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets' destiny this season was to come in and make a freaking bowl game, and the Jackets did it. And I am over the moon. It has been a long time coming. This game just felt like such a relief in a lot of ways for Tech fans. A lot of us are just so freaking happy and relieved. Finally, back to at the very least, a 500 record for the first time since 2018. It has been a miserable past few years, and shout out to all my Tech fans that have gone through it with me. It seems like the dog days are over. Brent Key said it himself. What Cdogg has been saying for years, that Georgia Tech, the bare minimum for expectations for Georgia Tech should be a bowl game. Georgia Tech, before, up until I think it was about 2015, had one of the longest bowl streaks in the country of bowl appearances. So, that should be the expectation at Tech. We're finally back to that. Even despite all this team's issues, we still managed to get to 6-6 and get to a bowl game. And there was no excuses by the freaking coaching staff. There was no BS and no giving up at all in the team in this year. And things didn't go well a lot of times this year, but the team didn't let that get them down. Didn't let it affect them the next week. They just turned around and kept their head down and kept working towards the goal, and finally reached it, of course. Now, I do know that the team had, a little bit better, higher expectations than a bowl game. Cdogg did too. But I did say in the preseason I would be happy with 6-6. That should be goal number one, is just get to a bowl. So we met that last night against Syracuse. It was a scrappy game. Look, if this game was in the middle of the season, I would be a lot harder on it. But despite everything that went wrong in the game, we still managed to win. Me and Rec Talk did a live show last night where we kind of went over the things we didn't like about the game. Haynes King threw a just terrible interception at one point, and then the offense, the entire third quarter and most of the fourth quarter just disappeared. Yet again, it seems like that's been an issue this year that hasn't gone away. With the offense disappearing in the third quarter, and we almost let them come back, but we held on to win, which was very nice. It reminded me of the Wake Forest game. I was, it almost was the Louisville game all over again, but instead it was the Wake Forest game all over again. And you know what? I'll take it because we beat Wake Forest. I will take it. I was hoping for Virginia all over again, but we've had all kinds of games this season, and to get to bowl eligibility, look, there's plenty that was not good about the game. We still kind of let them come back. We still let their offense come back, even though they ran the Wildcat the whole time. Like, they didn't even have a quarterback, and we still, were giving up scores and stuff to them, and had some snafus on, like, with turnovers and special teams and stuff. So we had some issues like that. But overall, like, I said this going into the game, like, this is a team that lost to Bowling Green earlier in the year, and so losing to Syracuse wouldn't be as bad. So the fact that we were just able to win, okay, is enough for Cdogg. Okay, it's enough for me. I'm just so happy to be back to a bowl game. You can go back after every win and look at what you did wrong. I'm not like I'm just not. Of course, you can do that after every win. I don't even really care if we're not a very good team. I'm just happy with getting to a bowl. I don't even care. It's huge for the team. We're gonna get some money from the bowl. We're gonna get extra practices, which the team would really needs. Young coaching staff, young players roster, and everything really is gonna really be able to use these extra bowl practices. Okay, so that is very exciting. Now, one other thing is Syracuse did fire their coach after Georgia Tech beat them, which is like damn. So apparently this actually isn't the first time this has happened. It happened back in like 2004. Georgia Tech beat them, and they fired their coach then too. So sorry about that. I do the show with Pigskin Pete every Tuesday night. The ACC show. If you're not subscribed to Pigskin Pete, go over there. We're always talking about, it's the ACC show, so we talk about all the ACC teams, and we've always kind of pondered for the past couple years that we've been doing the show, like, when are they going to fire Dino Babers? Surely it's going to be any day now, right? But no, he still manages to save his job somehow. But he did the same thing kind of this year that he did last year, where he started out really hot and then ran into Clemson and lost, and then lost 5 of the 6 last games on their schedule or something like that. So he did that again, got him canned, and I always thought Dino Babers was kind of like a good coach. Something we always say on the ACC show is you fire Dino Babers, who are you going to get? I mean, you're Syracuse. You kind of got to realize where you're at as a program. So I kind of always thought, that Dino Babers was kind of a good coach there and a good fit for them. I didn't realize how bad his stats were, really. He has a losing record there, only 2 winning seasons and 2 bowl appearances in his 8 years there. That's dreadful, okay? That is dreadful. 110-win season 5 years ago. Shouldn't cut it. Bought him some time, but you know what? Now that before the game, now I didn't realize how bad the stats were. Now that I've heard that, I'm like, okay, maybe it was time for them to move on from Dino Babers. So we'll be seeing who they hire. That'll be interesting. Maybe they can upgrade. I don't know. That's another thing. And then, of course, we're going to have a lot of fun with the bowl talk and everything. But something that Cdogg is having a lot of fun with right now. I want everybody to think back to the offseason. Georgia Tech over-under at Vegas was set to 4.5 wins. Well, we crushed that. Okay, that's been done. That was a lock. That was an easy lock. Okay, is over 4.5 wins for Georgia Tech if you were to bet the Vegas odds. Well, I mentioned the ACC show earlier. Some of these bums didn't want to listen, okay, to Cdogg, and didn't believe that the Yellow Jackets could make a bowl this year, even though Cdogg knew, okay, that they would 100% make a freaking bowl. They didn't want to listen. And now look at ya. That's right. Cdogg had a bet with 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bums. 4 bums that owe Cdogg money. That's right. Cdogg had $175 out with 4 Georgia Tech doubters on the ACC show. They showed up. Cdogg, I was hot one evening. I was hot. They were saying how bad Georgia Tech was and how it was a clown show and we were going to suck this year and 5 wins maximum. Well, I was yelling at them about how it, and I said, fine, bet me. And guess what? Forget the Vegas over-under, okay? I bet you we make a bowl. I'll take it one step further. I gave these people an extra game over the Vegas over-under win total and still won because they didn't want to listen to Cdogg. I still beat them. I made a bad bet. I could have just taken my money to Vegas and got an easy payday because 4.5. I mean, we were never going to win less than 5 games, okay, this year. That was a lock, okay? I still made a bad bet and still won. I still won. These 4 people, which are Celine Driver. Now, Celine Driver has already paid me $50. I was yelling. I was yelling in the. I was yelling at the comment section, yelling at everybody that would listen. Somebody bet me of the over/under win total. Celine took me up on it, and I'm like, Celine, what are you doing? Celine Driver, for those of you that don't know, is a Florida fan, and Celine was like, "Yeah, you said you wanted somebody to bet you. I'll bet you." And I was like, "Well, yeah, not a Florida fan." Florida fans and Georgia Tech fans are supposed to get along because we hate the same teams and we never play each other. Well, Celine Driver wanted to take me up on my bet, and lost, of course. And he was like, "What? You said you wanted to bet somebody?" And I was like, "You know what? I was hoping for another ACC team, like a rival or a Georgia fan, that I can take their money. But you know what? I couldn't turn down the bet, so I was like, okay, I'll take your money, Celine Driver." Took his money. So thank you for participating in that. Of course, then I had a Georgia fan, Bulldog Brian. And I don't know if any of you have seen the Family Guy, where Brian owes Stewie money, and he's like, "Where's my money, Brian?" "Oh, Brian. You ducking me, Brian? Where's my money, man? I told you I wasn't playing." That's like this situation right now. So, where's my money, Brian? Where's my money? And he just beats the soul out of him, and he kills him. He breaks his kneecaps with a golf club and sets him on fire and everything else. Yeah, that's like exactly like this situation here. So Bulldog Brian owes me $25, and then my 2 dear friends on the ACC show, Slim Shady Canes, who is a Miami fan. He took it a step further. He wanted to bet me that Miami would make a bowl and Georgia Tech wouldn't. So $50 on that too, of course. He wanted to bet me that Miami would. So if neither team made a bowl, I would win. If both teams made a bowl, I would win. And then the funniest possible outcome, if Miami didn't make a bowl and we did, I would win. The only situation where he could have won was if we didn't make a bowl and Miami did. Of course, we both made bowls, so Slim owes me money. And Pigskin Pete, my beloved co-host, also wanted to tell me. I seem to recall Pigskin Peter trying to get me to say a lie. He wanted to get me to say that Georgia Tech was the worst program in the ACC. Couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further. He said that we had no hope going forward and that we were a terrible program and we had no chance of making a bowl. Put his money on it too. And they're going to be paying Cdogg come tomorrow on the ACC show. That's right. They're going to be paying Cdogg. So I get to come on here and gloat about that. There's a lot of people that were wrong about the over/under win total. I remember getting mad at the Cover 3 podcast, one of the biggest college football podcasts in the country. Those buffoons picked Georgia Tech. They were picking over/unders in the ACC. Pick the under for the Vegas total on Georgia Tech. The under! 4.5 wins for the Vegas total. And they took the under on that. What an L. What a massive, steaming L that they were all delivered on the Cover 3 podcast. Don't listen to those guys when it comes to teams that aren't at the top of college football. Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State. Don't listen to those guys when it comes to teams like Georgia Tech because they don't know what they're talking about. In fact, after they said that, they were like, and guys, listen, we're not a podcast that does this. We don't just take the under on bad teams, and we don't, just take the over on good teams. We don't do that. That makes it even worse that you got this so wrong. It was so clear to anyone that knows anything about Georgia Tech that we were making you could say we would win 5 games. It was clear to anyone who knew anything about us that we were definitely 100% winning more than 4 games. Okay? And these buffoons with a clean sweep. There's 4 clowns on that show. 4 of them. And all of them took the under. All of them did. Not one of them took the over on Georgia Tech. And then they had the audacity to say, well, we don't do this. We don't, usually take the over on Georgia Tech. So, huge L for those guys. Look pretty dumb. I mean, that means either they didn't do any research and then lied about it and pretended like they did, or they did research and it wasn't very good because they were dead wrong. Okay? Not to mention late kick. Late kick with Josh Pate. Very down on my Jackets. Said we should have hired Willie Fritz and said that, well, it's more like what they didn't say. They had a segment where it was like teams that didn't make a bowl last year that have a chance to this year. Tech wasn't mentioned. Teams that are likely to hit their over, Tech wasn't mentioned. And teams that are likely to improve their win total from last year, Tech wasn't mentioned. I remember them doing segments like that in the offseason. Tech wasn't mentioned by any of these people. None of them, okay? So we proved them all wrong. And I couldn't be happier. Not only the Vegas win total, but we took it a step further and got to a bowl. And nobody outside of us who knew thought we could do that. So, hell yeah. Huge win for Georgia Tech. Huge win for us. I love you guys. Every freaking one of you that watches and supports the channel and freaking pulls for the Jackets, baby. Baby. We're going to a bowl. Right there. That might be a shitty freaking bowl, but it's ours. That's our bowl game right there. And I couldn't be happier. So, thank you guys for watching. Of course, hey, regular season's not over. And Cdogg has been quiet about the Bulldogs this year. Cdogg's been letting them off easy, but that's about to change. So stay on the tune. Stay tuned and look out for hate week content from Cdogg, because I hate them some bitches more than anything. So, and I got stuff to say about them. So thank you for watching. Go Jackets, and we'll see you next time. We're gonna have a fun week coming up, and we're gonna have fun going to a bowl, baby. Yeah, come on.